it's Whitney.
And it's your girl Alicia.
And this is the Luxe Hour Podcast.
Join us weekly as we encourage Black women to elevate into luxury.
Yes. Okay, KK. We back at it.
Okay, y'all.
I'm a little lit because we're drinking wine this episode.
Yes.
So if you've been following, the last two episodes, we did not drink. We were on a fast. I was on a fast. Alicia was supporting a friend on a fast.
Correct.
And today we're back. And we're trying a brand new wine, and I'm excited about it. Alicia picked this one up, and the bottle was just super cute. So we will get right into it.
Yes,
Alicia,
we will.
You want to hand me a bottle, please?
Sure thing.
All right. If you're new here, every single week, we test out a brand new wine. We do a little bit of everything: reds, whites, pinks, Moscatos, Cabs, you name it. We done tried it.
Correct.
This is a blueberry Moscato. So this is by a brand named Oliver Winery and Vineyards. It is a tropical Moscato brightened by light, fresh blueberry juice. And it is 6.8% the alcohol by volume. So it's got a nice little summertime fine daytime drinking level to it.
Correct.
The back of the bottle says deep, flavorful blueberries brought to life by Moscato's light, natural bubble, a refreshing, easy to drink treat. All right, let's get into it, Oliver. Let's see what you got. All right, Alicia, you want to hand me your glass? If y'all noticed, I pre-popped the cork this week.
Yes, we do.
Only took me 15 weeks to to start that up.
Oh, such a pretty color.
It's so pretty. If you can't see the bottle, it's the color of rosé, but it's got these blue accents on there. And so I'm thinking that the pink color actually is an iridescent blue more than it's a pink, but it looks like rosé.
It does.
All right, let's taste it. So right off the bat, I'm seeing that this is one with that carbonation. I learned, y'all.
What did you learn?
We're about to take these wine testings to the next level. So for my birthday, we went to the Uncle Nearest distillery. So Uncle Nearest, if you're not familiar with the story, he is the slave turned free man who taught Jack Daniels how to distill whiskey. And so his story was just completely unknown for so long. Finally, around 2016, there started being some buzz like, hey, Jack Daniels didn't learn that from nowhere, right? Like this slave taught him how to do it. And so this lady named Faye Weaver and her husband, they started exploring the story, trying to figure out who is this Uncle Nearest guy? Did he teach Jack Daniels everything they know? Long story short, they ended up building a whole winery, like a whole distillery, tribute to Uncle Nearest, and that's where it's produced at. So if you've purchased Uncle Nearest whiskey, if you haven't seen this yet, you probably will in the future. But I say all this to say we did a tasting there, and they taught us where the notes are on your tongue. So the first note is the sweet note, and your sweet taste buds are on the very tip of your tongue.
Really?
So when you taste something, he said that's why when you put things like you first bite a piece of chocolate or a piece of candy, or you sit cotton candy on the tip of your tongue, because your sweet note is there, right? Your sour notes are under the sides of your tongue. So your sour note, what makes you go, oh, when you eat like a lemon head or lemons,
okay,
what makes you suck in your cheeks, it's because it's underneath and on both sides of your tongue. Your bitter note is all the way in the back. So that's
why you wait until it goes down. It's the aftertaste that's
you got
bitter.
it.
Oh my God. Okay.
And then salty is your whole palate. So to get the full flavor of it, all you just let it sit in your mouth. Okay. Does that make sense? So I say that to say I'm going to use that strategy when tasting this wine. So first off, we opening it up. This just helps to open up those the notes in the wine. It smells so good. It's got a fruity smell to it. I'm going to try it, so let's see. First note is very sweet. So when you try it on the very tip of your tongue, it's very sweet. And I actually do taste that blueberry there. I actually do taste the blueberry. And then what I'm going to do is give it another sip, and I'm just going to hold it and then swallow.
Okay.
It's good. The note on the back is like orange peel.
Really?
Try it and see with the different zones on your tongue. But it's good.
Okay. See here, guys. It is very sweet. I felt a little awkward, like
Okay.
putting the tip of my tongue out to taste it, but no, it is.
Try
really,
to taste
really
it with
sweet.
just the tip. So like touch it with the tip and then pull the drink back. There you go.
It is very sweet. I'm just trying to taste it. I taste more of the blueberry note, but I actually taste some of like an orange peel.
Yeah.
Hold on, wait. Okay.
And I didn't see that on the bottle, on the notes on the bottle. You taste it?
Mm-hmm. It can be a little bit sour when I hold it in, just a tiny bit sour, but it's really good. It's way more sweet than it is sour.
Yeah, I can taste that citrus in there a lot. It's that citrus. I feel like the same thing that gives it orange peel gives it the sour.
Mm-hmm. But it's really good.
It is
honestly
good.
As far as like a Moscato or Rosé, that's really good. That's like top 3-5.
It's good. It's good.
I mean, and then especially for the price too. I think the bottle was like $11 and $12.
Oh,
I got it from at Sam's Club,
Mm-hmm.
so it's very reasonably priced. Like you said, it's a pretty bottle. They have it at Total Wine as well. I saw it there. But yeah, no, that's a good one.
Okay.
But you definitely taste the blueberries heavily.
Yeah,
Heavily.
it gives definitely gives like a fresh spin on Moscato.
I love it.
All right, y'all. Well, you heard it here first. Give Oliver a try. He's doing what he needs to do down here in California.
Amen. Okay, thank you, Oliver. Okay, y'all. Now it is time for our treat of the week. Treat of the week. Treat of the week. So, for those of you guys who don't know, our treat of the week is essentially the luxury that you indulged in for the week. It could be anything because, again, luxury is subjective in a lot of ways, right? So, Whit, tell us, what was your treat of the week?
So I actually celebrated my birthday this past Saturday, and I went to Nashville to visit my family, my parents, and my mom, like, she had a whole weekend set up. But on Friday, so I told y'all Saturday we went to the distillery, but on Friday we went to this rooftop bar in downtown Nashville. Gorgeous. It was like literally at the 27th floor of a hotel in downtown Nashville.
Ooh.
And she rented out like a cabana by the pool, and so we were in the cabana. It was like so
Mama
gorgeous.
Whit.
Y'all, when I tell y'all they had the cabana like fully decorated with throw pillows and blankets and greenery. It was such a luxe vibe, like so gorgeous. And then with the pool in the background, the cabana was private, so you can close the curtains if you wanted to. Like, it was just amazing. You can see the city behind you. It was a little windy that night, so they had these like plastic drops, like cloths, like sheets or something.
Oh, around
sheets,
it.
Just to keep the
warmth in.
wind.
Yeah.
But it was amazing. It was so beautiful, and I think that was definitely my luxe treat. Like, I am for sure now about to be at the Statler. Like, I need rooftop vibes all summer, and I don't know that I've actually explored the Dallas like rooftop scene. So like, for those of you that don't know me, like, that is 100% my vibe. When I go out, I like to go to like posh places. I like vibes, good music. Anywhere with live music is like, that's it for me. And so you put that with a view, like a city line view, like, oh my God, girl. Anyway, I said it to say, I know the Statler has a rooftop bar, so I will be there this summer.
And RH as well.
Yes. Okay.
Well, you know who to call.
Yeah, period. So I say that to say that was my little treat of the week, and it was amazing.
Honey, there's no little that you put in front of that, okay?
Yeah, you're right. There's no little.
Okay.
That's
big
big
looks
mama
vibes, big
done.
wit, big mama wit, with the big bag, big boss
Period.
in the big
Period.
building.
Girl.
With the big cabana. Everything big. We don't play it small.
Period. At all. I don't even know how to spell it. What? Small. I
just had to put that out there. I love that. I love that for you.
Thank you, girl.
I know.
What about you?
It would have been amazing to celebrate with you, but you know your girls got something for you now that Whit is back.
Well, you had Valentine's, so you celebrated something.
Oh,
You
child.
wanna tell
Oh,
people how you're
right. Oh,
feeling?
Jesus. Okay, yes. Well, we can talk about that.
Okay.
So yes, we had a Luxe Valentine. So myself and my nail tech, as well as my good sis, Nails by Asia Sades. So we actually
pronounced that.
yes,
Girl, I've been saying that wrong this whole time. I knew her first name was Asia, but like,
or maybe it's Sades. Asia, don't kill me. I'm gonna just say Sade's, but it could be
We know
Asia
who
Sade's
you know what
as
I'm
well.
saying? Yeah, it could be.
My girl Asia.
I don't know why I was seeing, like, I missed the whole shut. So I was saying Asia Days.
Oh.
Like, it's like I took out now I'm finna go look at her Instagram now because I'm like,
yes.
But I was just saying Asia Days. But anyway.
Yes, girl. No, you good.
Sorry
you
about that.
You good. No, you're good. You're good. So actually, me and her, we put on a Luxe Galentine's Day girl event. So Asia was so gracious enough to host in her home, which is beautiful, immaculately designed and curated. I mean, the vibes are, yes. Okay, her home is beautiful.
Love it.
So it definitely given the Luxe vibe. So we did it there. But we wanted to keep it under 15 girls. Unfortunately, Whit was out of town. You know, she was at the top of our list.
One of y'all can have my spot.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed it.
Yes. So we invited so collectively we invited some of our closer homegirls who we know, our closer friends who we know enjoy a nice Luxe vibe and that would be present for Valentine's Day. Unfortunately, it was about a good 5 girls that we really wanted there. They just weren't there for birthdays or their boyfriend surprising for vacations, or they had vacations, which is beautiful. Okay, I don't know that life.
Mind my business.
So the night was great. Our theme was shades of pink. So literally all the girls came stepping. Most women wear heels. We had some, who were a bit more casual. Everyone was super cute, had their makeup done, hair done, and that just was coming for a good time. So actually during the event, so we actually did a charcuterie board. And shout out to Kelly because I definitely took a page out of Kelly's book, and I even asked sis, I was like, sis, what did you put on that charcuterie board? So made a charcuterie board. We had what else did we have? Oh my God, we had so much meat. We had a mimosa bar, and then also I had my mom make her signature. I know, don't look at me like that. We had her make her signature cinnamon roll cake. Oh my God. It was amazing. She even made like these mini cakes. It was so amazing. So get at me if you need that. Get at me if you need that. I know one of your
Hands LLC.
Yes, Cats Anointed Hands LLC. She don't really be on Instagram, but yes, you can make all inquiries. But literally that was really good. And then I had Sweet Aileen's Treats or Aileen's Sweet Treats. Sorry, she did like some covered strawberries for us coming out of like a little mailbox. It was super cute, but it was a nice setup. We just, so of course we enjoyed that. We had that spread. But also what a lot of people don't know is that we did individual and group words of affirmation. Okay. We shared testimonies. We talked about our experiences in dating. We talked about our insecurities. But we were vulnerable essentially, and at the same time we uplifted and empowered one another. We just loved on one another, had a good time, had a vibe of a playlist, and yeah, it was a good night. It was everything you imagine a Galentine to be. Well, on a simplistic level, on a foundational level, which is just women loving on each other, gals loving on each other and making each other feel loved. So it was bomb. It was a great event.
Amen. Well, the pictures were gorgeous. Y'all know you can find the pics on Alicia's Instagram. I was like creeping on the story, so I was like looking at your story, and then Tajay was posting a lot of pictures.
Yes.
During it, so I was looking at her story too.
Yes.
But yeah, if you follow Alicia on Instagram at Queen Think Hustler, the pictures are up there.
Yes.
We'll be doing more the dress. Listen, it was painted on. You have to see the dress. If you have not seen the dress, you have to see the dress. It's giving legit Barbie vibes, like 100% black Barbie.
Sis.
Go see the dress.
Stop, sis.
The girl, it's so cute.
Stop. Thank you. Yes, and believe it or not, that just came from Shein.
Really, it was cute.
$17 on Shein.
The fabric looked good too.
The fabric was actually amazing. That dress, I feel like easily that could have been at a little Nordstrom Rack, Saks office for like $100.
Wow, most of them use the same like warehouses.
They do.
Vendors,
I could have really seen that dress. I'm not gonna say at Saks, but I could see it at for sure like a Nordstrom, Bloomingdale's, like on that train, like right under designer. Like I could see it there. Quality wise, I was really thoroughly impressed.
Yeah,
with that dress.
Cute. It looked really good. It was cute.
Shout out to Shein.
Shout out to Shein.
Where's the Shein? I don't know.
Well,
I thought it was Shein.
Alicia may have been Barbie, but y'all know sometimes Barbie and Ken don't make it.
Ciao.
Sometimes Barbie and Ken don't make
They
it, y'all.
don't, child.
And we know another Barbie by the name of Kim Kardashian,
Child.
whose Ken is spiraling on
Lord.
the internet. So, today we're going to unpack the Kim and Kanye situation.
Yeah.
But then we're also going to talk about transitions as a whole, moving on as a whole, to better things, to new experiences, to different people, whatever the case may be. If you are not familiar, Kim Kardashian and Kanye West, they've been married for quite some time now because they have like 70 kids. Like, they've been married for a while.
How
They
many
have
do
like,
they really have? Is it like 3? Is it 2? 3?
yeah, I think maybe 3,
Yeah, they have a couple.
maybe 4. Did she just have a baby? But they have
But
North,
she's dating that new guy.
Saint, Chicago.
I
That's
know
it, right?
North and Saint's name. I didn't know Chicago's name.
I think that's it. Y'all gonna make me go check. Let me see. Oh, my phone's dead, child. I can't check nothing. But to long story short, they going through a pretty messy split up right now. And Kanye, who we all know at this point struggles with his mental health, is having, whether it be triggered by the breakup or whether it just be generalized bipolar disorder, like functioning the way that it just comes in cycles.
Yeah,
Either way, he's having like a social media breakdown, and he is posting multiple times per day the intimate details of their relationship, the text messages that they've shared, shots at the new guy that she's dating, concerns about the kids and their activities, just things that are very much so not for the public eye. And it's sad, right, to watch it. And people have so many mixed opinions on it. I've seen people say everything from, I don't blame Kanye, he's trying to stand up against the machine, to this is harassment and Kim is going to have a breeze in court because she can use all of this as evidence to his instability. So people feel all across the spectrum about it. But like, breakups and divorces get messy. Like, transitions get messy as a whole. So like, I don't know. Have you like seen any of this? Like, what are kind of your thoughts on the Kim Kanye thing? Like,
I think the biggest thing the thing I want to comment on the most is the fact that a lot of people are even just debating, like, okay, Kanye, is he being crazy or is he just fighting for his family? Because I think initially it was much more so him fighting for his family, and he even explicitly said that I'm going to fight for my family. Mm-hmm. And so I guess my thing is, I think that a lot of people are just trying to figure out, okay, how far is too far? Mm-hmm. But I think as for me, in the beginning, I would say that, when you're in a transition, from a family standpoint, not even just a relationship standpoint, from a family standpoint, I do feel like you should fight because you make those vows. Mm-hmm. You do make vows before God, and you make vows to that other person that I'm going to be by your side through thick and thin. So that means that when stuff gets rough, you don't just quit. You do give a valiant effort to try to salvage whatever it is that you do have. If there's anything left, I think that to me, that's the bare minimum, is to at least try. Yeah. And so in the beginning, I could appreciate what Kanye was doing as far as like, getting on Twitter and saying like, hey, I want my family back and things like that. Now, I think that there is definitely a line that Kanye has crossed over time to where I can see how some people can say, okay, well, this is harassment, but I wouldn't call it harassment. I would just call it him spilling intimate details about their life and about the choices that they make as parents, about how they operate as a unit, or a lack thereof. But I don't think that it's anything that's really like defamation. I mean, facts are facts.
Yeah. Facts are facts. But facts are also that he been running around with like Julia Fox.
Which is crazy.
So,
but
I'm not understanding. Speak on it.
That's a whole different, but you know what? That brings to that's another conversation in itself, is that, okay, fight for your family, but don't be raggedy about
Yeah.
it. And I think that what that is indecisiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways.
Every single way.
And that's what it is. I feel like he's double-minded. And I think Kanye has shown that, because one minute he wants Kim back. The next minute he's moving on. The next minute he's calling her a bad mother.
But is that double-minded, or is he truly, is it mental health?
I think that
it really like...
No, he definitely has mental health issues.
Yeah.
For sure. Like,
so, but then what do you do in that instance? Because she even put up at one point, she was like, if you could just return the call to any of the 3 lawyers you've had in the past year, like, basically like saying, there's ways to handle this that are not
lashing out
on
in
Instagram
manic episodes.
Yeah, in manic episodes. That's exactly what they are. Thank you. I cannot find that term for anything, but I don't know. And I just think like about how stressful that has to be for like the kids. And apparently he bought the house across the street.
Now that is nuts.
Across the street.
I don't want to use the C word, but I want to say that is nuts. Like that, I think that just, it lacks tact, it lacks class, and it's very vindictive and manipulative.
Yeah.
It is.
Because even, I think one thing that people struggle to accept is that mental health is a hell of a ride, and it's a hell of a topic to tackle. However, it does not give you permission to be abusive. And I think we've gone so far on the edge of, but mental health, that we've also like lost the half of, but accountability, right?
Yes.
Like, if you have mental health issues that are that grave, you need to get the help you need, and you need to take, especially if you have a family and children, then you should be doing the things that you need to do to help you manage that condition at all costs. And it still doesn't give you a pass to be abusive or harassing, or, and again, we never know what people's life is truly like, because what we won't do is play like the Kardashians are innocent. Like they are a machine, a true system. A machine, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if her response to Kanye, as quiet as it is 100% tactful. Like 100%. If they're not screenshotting every single thing and just sending it right to the lawyer, like, because the Kardashians, y'all know how Kris Jenner moved, baby.
She's a businesswoman.
Period.
Her marketing strategy, I mean,
so yeah, but I think it may be mental health, right? But like, you have a responsibility and an obligation, even more so now that you have a wife and kids, to do it, to take the steps that you need to take
care of yourself,
to not be abusive in that, right? Like, even I even go through these bouts of depression, right? Like, where I completely fall off the face of the earth, and I have to go through every time I have to go through apologizing. Hey, I'm so sorry. Like, I know I haven't texted you back in 4 days. Like, but like, there's an element of accountability there, right? Where I at least owe it to the people in my life to say, like, this is what was going on, and I decided I just needed to take a step back, or whatever the case may be, right?
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I feel like, yeah, Kanye, it might be a manic episode, but like, you got $1 billion. You don't have no way to treat this other than Instagram. You don't have a therapist,
that she can have on
call
24/7,
medication, even if it's, and that's not to say that it's not to gloss over mental illness, but it's also not to gloss over abuse, right?
Yeah,
there's
absolutely.
2 people that need to be managed.
It's not because what you said was so valuable. It's not a license to kill. You said, yes, mental health, but accountability. That is not a license to abuse. It's not a license to become the predator.
Yeah.
It is not a license to silence your victims. Just because you have mental health issues, that does not mean that automatically you can never be wrong. And I think that that's where a lot of people are getting it confused. And unfortunately, for those people who really do struggle with mental health, for other people to utilize it as an excuse, well, I have abandonment issues, or I'm experiencing this, I'm experiencing depression, I go through this, I go through that. I feel like that's where people don't take mental health as serious, and it becomes that stigma of like, but really, are you? Because a lot of people use that as a crutch, and they use that as an excuse, and they use it as a tool to get what they want when they want it, with no accountability.
Yeah.
And I think that's the part that's just so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And in Kanye's case, to be fair, again, as a person who battles mental health, like I think many of us do, and to different degrees. Let me say that, to different degrees.
Yeah.
But what I see in Kanye is someone who is battling, I wouldn't even say battling mental health, but a person who has mental health issues but is not doing the work to treat himself. Now, spiritually, one can make an argument and say, okay, well, he's doing the work to at least feed his spiritual man. But in all the other areas, it's like, okay, well, where is it? Where are the retreats? Are you meditating? Are you, really going into your word, and are you really trying to take your spirituality to the next level to help you offset that? Are you seeing a therapist? Because like you said, all of these behaviors, he's imploding.
Yeah, truly.
He's literally imploding.
And I mean, like, y'all know that at the end of the day, I'm gonna call a spade every time. And there's mental health, but like, there are also just personality characteristics.
Hello.
At the end of the day, Kanye West has been
Kanye West
since day one.
He's been boisterous, loud, outspoken.
There's a new Netflix documentary on him.
I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched it yet, but I said I'm going to. But even then, I will not be surprised. Like, the man has been Kanye West. He's been snatching the mic out of people's hands. He's been telling George Bush he don't love black people. Like, Kanye has been Kanye. And so there's also the part of Kim where it's like,
Kanye, no, this is
you knew who Kanye was too when you got with him, and some part of it is us biting the bullet. I'm just saying that there's accountability, there's mental health, and then peace is somewhere in the middle of the two. You know what I mean? Peace is somewhere in the middle of, yes, he truly struggles with mental health and getting to a healthy space mentally, and he has probably no control over that, right? That is pure brain chemistry. But like, also he has personality traits that with or without mental health flare-ups or manic episodes, Kanye ain't gonna be Kanye.
Because he had those then, before his mom passed away. Like you said, to your point, Kanye was always that person. And, even Dame Dash talks about it. A lot of people who are in the industry when Kanye was really coming out, and they were saying Kanye was telling people back then, walking up to some of the greatest rappers of all time and saying, I can out-rap all of y'all. I'm better than all of y'all. I'm the GOAT. I'm the greatest. So he was that person that just would say whatever came to mind. He was always very cocky. He was always very arrogant. He was genius, but at the same time, he was cocky, he was arrogant, he was condescending, and he always felt like Kanye can do what Kanye wants.
Yeah.
So a lot of this, to an extent, we can all argue that, to your point, it's a combination of all three.
Yeah.
It's mental health, it's personality, and then what was the other one?
Accountability.
And
sheer accountability. Like, but those are the three pillars that lead to any level of collapse and transition, right? Like, either there's an error in personality, well-being, like sheer mental health. What was the child? I forgot the other one. Personality, mental health.
I know that I said the same thing. We getting on.
Which one?
No, I'm just kidding.
Y'all. I told y'all I just had a birthday. This is crazy.
Personality, accountability, and
that's it. Mental health.
And mental health. Yeah,
absolutely. Personality, accountability, and mental health. That
Jesus,
and then
y'all.
right. Work with us, y'all. The years ain't skipping nobody. But and if there is a fourth pillar, it's time, right? Like those four things will trigger transition anywhere. You know what I mean? Like whether it's a relationship and somebody's mental health is just being drained by the relationship, whether it's a business and it's just time, you've missed the market or your market has gone under.
And when we say time, we're speaking of the timing of the environment.
The timing of the environment.
Literally it's it's the environment. What is going on, what's happening around you, not just inside of you, but around you.
Yeah.
There are those external factors that really come into play.
Yeah, and I think having transitions on their own are hard enough without the exacerbation of them by things like people making it harder, right? Yeah. Like divorce is hard enough. Splitting up a family where we have 3 to 4 kids, however many. I'm really finna check and see how many kids I have. My phone is back on, so let me see. Cause I'm just like, Lord. But I say this to say, the worst thing that can happen when you're trying to transition is that you come face to face with somebody who is in opposition of your transition, or somebody who does not want you to either A, leave them behind, B, leave a certain lifestyle behind, like whatever the case may be. But I'm trying to find Kim Kardashian.
Or did she recently post something?
No, child, I'm just trying to see if I see a picture with all the kids. I'm hoping she a mama. I'm hoping she done posted some pictures of the kids. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so I guess it's no. This is somebody else, baby. Oh Lord, hold on. Okay. Yeah, I think no. Yeah. So I think so. This is a picture with all of the kids, and I think she has
Courtney kids and Kylie's kids.
Yeah.
How many kids Kylie has? I don't even know,
baby.
Don't ask me.
Kylie just had it. So I think Kylie has 2, Courtney has 1, and Kim has 3. I don't know why I thought. No, I think Kim has 2 boys. Am I making this up?
Girl, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest with you.
really
I do
don't
not
know. Okay.
It's not that I'm not under. It's not that I'm under a rock, because I'm aware that they have multiple children, but I just
now we said we was gonna start paying attention to this now that we got a podcast.
I know, but you know what? I have my own views on the Kardashians.
I can see that. A lot of Black people say that.
You know, so that's why I can't. The cultural appropriation and the don't get me started. Another
Baby.
podcast for another day. But either way, they have, what were you?
Multiple children.
Multiple children. But I know North and Saint are girls, though, right?
No, Saint is the boy.
He's a boy. Okay, well, I know North is the girl.
North and Chicago are the girls.
Okay.
And Saint is the little boy.
I think they just have 3.
Oh, child, listen.
Does Kim have a kid by anyone else? No.
I don't think so.
Okay. I think they just have 3. Yeah.
Yeah. But I say that to say transitions are hard enough without them being toxic. You know what I mean? Like, and we don't ever really have to bear the weight of the bed we made until we have to get up out of it, right? Like they say, when you make your bed, you have to lay in it. Laying in it ain't the hard part. You know what I'm saying? When you make your bed and you decide, like, this is what I'm going to do in my life, I'm going to choose this person, you do that happily. You boldly and confidently get into a relationship with somebody that's toxic. It's getting out of that bed. That's a hell of a ride, right? And it's the same thing with businesses. You pick the wrong job, right? You take a job out of desperation, and you know that you hate it, or you know that you won't like that field. It's going to be hell trying to get out of it, right? If you take friendships, you pick a friend, cars, you buy a car that you can't afford, literally whatever the case may be, you move into an apartment that you can't afford. It's harder to get out of it. Does that make sense? Like the transition it's hard enough, and you really you see the quality of person, like when you go through a breakup, you see who you really were dealing with the whole time.
I think that that's very true, you know, definitely in relationships. And I think that here's the part that always cracks me up about what you just said too. You know, you don't bear the weight of, you know, the bed until you have to get out of it. Because a lot of people, as soon as they break up, what's the first thing that they do? They start to trash that person, right? They start to tell all the person's dirty little secrets and how they were no good on this, and they were a terrible partner about this, they were a terrible human being about this, you know. But that's when, okay, everything that they observe, that's when it begins to come out. But I think that we conveniently do that. You know, we, like you said, Kim knew exactly who she was dealing with when she got into a relationship, let alone a marriage with Kanye West. But for whatever reasons that she had, she said, well, I'll overlook these things because I want these things, you know. And I just find that's mighty funny. But at the same time, I also think that that's extremely detrimental. Yeah. And so it's like, we have to think about, not saying that you should go into a relationship or go into anything thinking about what happened if this hit the fan, if it all falls apart. But I do think that we should be cognizant of that and say, okay, well, you know, I do have to, going into this situation, let me take a good look at the full ramifications, you know, before I decide to indulge, you know, because if the stuff hits the fan, how can this thing really implode? And what type of consequences am I faced with, you know, if things don't go the way that I imagine that they would go? And that's in anything, relationships, career, like you said, you know, in business. Are you truly prepared? Are you truly prepared, and is this truly the best decision when you look at it?
Yeah, that brings up a good point, because is there a process to prepare for transitions, right? Like, when you are preparing to move to a new level, to leave a certain relationship, is there a process that you kind of have to go through to tackle that transition?
You know, absolutely, I think so. And it's funny because, you know, even at my 9 to 5, you know, like right now, you know, I'm training for this new role, and we talk about the cycle. We talk about the buy-in cycle. And it was this specialized training that we go through, not through our company, but something else that they pay for us to go through. And they talk about the buy-in cycle. So, you know, the first cycle is there is change. There's changes over time.
Okay.
So just naturally, it's the climate. It's okay. It's what's going on, what's happening. And then the next step is there's a recognition that there is a need. And then the next stage becomes evaluation of those options, you know. So, and then it's like, okay, then it's the implication. Okay, how will this impact me? And then the very last stage is, okay, that's decisioning. It's making your decision. And I think that ideally, those are great stages to apply to not just the buying cycle, but to me, the buy-in cycle. Whatever it is that I'm choosing to do, does this thing deserve my buy-in? How do we buy into any ideal or any decision? But I mean, I think when I saw it, I was like, this is actually a pretty good cycle that we should even, look at in terms of anything, but especially in terms of relationships, you know. But I was like, hey, this is a pretty good cycle. Like if I'm shopping for a job, shopping for a car, you know, or shopping for flowers or a wedding venue, whatever the case is. I was like, I mean, those are some good stages. Do we follow them?
No. And I love that cycle. Like I'm gonna put make a social media graphic for that. So I'm gonna ask you to send me the stages because I feel like I'm somebody, and if you're anything like me, you'll feel me here, that can benefit from having a cycle like that because I'm impulsive. You know what I mean? Like I'm not somebody that struggles with decision making. So once I make my decision, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. I don't take a lot of time. I don't stretch things out. I don't do a whole lot of pondering and working out. Like even when I started my businesses, I be looking back like I should have made some sort of formal business plan or something, but I'm just very much so a jump in and do it type of person. But like I love that you had that cycle because the stage that really stuck out to me was recognizing that there's a need, right? Because there really is always this switch that flips that's like, do I need to change this area of my life, right? Whether it be, do I need to get a new job? Do I need to move my business in a new territory? Do I need to start something new? Do I need to leave this relationship? You know what I mean? Like there's always that something that clicks. And I feel like you go through so many, like, it's not just like, for some people really just quit easily and give up easily. So they like one sign of dysfunction or like one hiccup and they be like, I'm about to quit, I'm out. Like, but then for the most part, people don't just automatically jump to, I need to just leave, right? Like I need to quit this person, quit this job, move from this city. Like you don't really get to that point till there's been a series of events, right? And like you said, that time passes and then all of a sudden you just realize, do I still want this? Is this still a good fit, right? And I think just that word still shows you that that's a product of time passing and you not being who you were at the end of a cycle that you were at the beginning of the cycle. So then when you get to that place, you start thinking, dang, but it's not enough to just consider it, right? Then you start evaluating it, I think is what you said, right? You saying, okay, I'm assuming that looks something like making a pros and cons list and figuring out what would be the pros of going this way and the cons of going this way or whatever the case may be. Like I love that model as a whole because I think that really helps you put some type of process to the transitioning process.
And then, but you know what? The crazy thing is that next step is what gets me implication. So it's literally, okay, so we're evaluating the needs. So once we look at, the different options, it's not enough to evaluate those needs, but what is the implication
of each option?
Of each option? So if I do this, if I choose to, let's say it's in business, if I choose to start a YouTube channel, then the implication would be that, I would have to place more, I'm no longer behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
The implication is that I will have to put more time, effort, money into my appearance.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I would have to be cognizant of, you know, how I am, you know, essentially how I present myself.
Mm-hmm.
You know, am I talking with my hands? Am I very animated? Are people going to connect with me in that way? Are they going to be deterred from me in that way? You know, how is that going to impact? Because that's what implications are, just, you know, basically the different ways in which something it's impacted. And then, but okay, what if I take my business and I decide to keep it behind the scenes? You know, again, that could cut down on costs, but also at the same time, it could, you know, I wouldn't have that same exposure to those who might be attracted to the visual of what it is that I'm presenting on my YouTube channel. You know, so that's the stage that gets me, and I think that's the stage that we oftentimes overlook or we just rush through.
Yeah.
Because at that point we feel like, well, I've already weighed out the options. I mean, let me just go for it. This sounds better.
Yeah.
And the implication stage, that's the stage that's actually like that's the bread and butter.
Yeah.
Like that's the meat of it. That's the thick of it.
That's where you get a preview of the weight of your decision.
Ah, that's good.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. A preview of the weight of that decision. And so I don't know. I mean, okay, so let me get a little personal. What is something that you're willing to share with us now that, or what area are you in any of those stages that really sticks out, that implication stage? Or it could be any of those stages that just really stick out in some area of your life right now.
So I have a relationship with a family member that I am just about at the end of my rope with, in terms of the situation not being healthy, right? And I feel like I keep seeing a lot on social media about like in terms of family trauma, like sometimes no contact is just the way to go. But I don't really believe in no contact. Like, I'm not a love from a distance type of person, right? Like that, if you love somebody from a distance, then they just fall into the general love that you have for humanity. Does that make sense?
For sure.
Like, I have a general love for humanity that leads me to serve, that leads me to hold the door for somebody if they coming right behind me, right? To not drive past somebody and splash water when it's raining and they walking, type of thing. Yeah. Right? That's just a general love for humanity. Now, I'm not saying everybody has that, but I'm saying that when I think love you from a distance,
that's what it feels like to you. Okay.
I'm like, but it's hard because, to your point, what are the implications, right? What are the long-term impacts of going no contact with a close family member, right? What do holidays look like? What does that do to relationships within the family dynamic between other people? What does that look like for me, who desperately wants to have a better relationship with that person, right? Like, but at what point do you draw the line, right? And so then also looking at, but what is this doing to you? How is this relationship making you view yourself? How is this relationship keeping you stuck in patterns that you would rather not be in? Right. And weighing all of those out, I think I'm literally in the middle of, I think I've done what's the stage where you make like the list of options?
What did I say it was? Oh, the evaluation of options.
Yeah, I've done the evaluation, but now I think I'm at the implication portion, right? Looking at what are the implications of trying to stick it out and hope that I can love the relationship back to health, right? Like, versus the implications of accepting that this person is not changing and they don't want to change, and this is what you can expect to deal with forever. And what are the implications of that? Does that make sense?
No, absolutely.
So, very personal, but like, something that I think more of us go through than we would like to admit, right?
No,
like,
absolutely.
Because family relationships are those one relationships that you just feel like, I can't cut them off.
You know.
But it's like,
they blood, you know.
Yeah, but it's
everybody
like,
in the family gonna say I'm no good. I'm putting water over blood,
yeah.
and you know I'm breaking a code, and
exactly.
you know I'm, you know that's not black of me. That's not real of me. That's not you know whatever of me. But yeah, it's like literally if you cut off a close family member, you might as well just cut off the whole family. In a black family,
you might as well cut off the whole family.
Yeah,
you know, and it's like. But what do you do when it literally gets from where it's you or them? Where it's just genuinely not good for you as a, not even that it doesn't feel good, but that it truly breaks down the mental framework of your being. Like it alters the way that you see and carry yourself. Like, you know what I mean? Like at that point, it's such a hard choice to make. Do you choose the family or do you choose wholeness? Right? Like, and what does it look like to say, well, I choose my family and I'll just permanently live a damaged existence at the hands of this person? I don't know. But to answer your question, it's a rain on the parade a little bit.
It's not raining on the parade. It's answering the question. And I feel like that's powerful, and thank you for sharing, because I believe that there is multiple people that are going to watch this, that are going to listen to this, and that it's going to resonate. Yeah. And none of us are alone, you know. And I think that, so literally, thank you for the bravery and you know the courage to share how you're feeling, and I'm sure that it's for a reason, and it's someone that is feeling exactly how you're feeling. You know, and I think, you know, and if we're being real, like you said, to your point, a lot of us are experiencing that. Yeah. Like, I'm experiencing that. I mean,
it's hard.
You know, it is.
Especially if you decide to, especially if you come from a family where it's very codependent.
Family enmeshment.
It's very enmeshed. Everybody has to think and operate on the same wavelength. Like, to deviate from that, it almost like automatically.
You're out the family.
Yeah, like
you're out the
family.
It's
a crazy thing. Like, but also it's such a suffocating weight to be so different.
Yeah, it is.
That you're not really welcome unless you put on an act.
To be the anomaly in a family, and it's sad because you can even, and I know we're taking this a different direction, but you can be the anomaly in a positively impactful way, and still feel like the screw up, you know, or still be the black sheep, and it could literally just be because you decided to be that person to where you're not going to get into spats, you're not going to, you know, either you're not going to fist fight your family, you don't want to be poor, you don't want to be broke, or you don't have the same mindset as everyone else, you're not as hood as everyone else, you know, whatever the case may be, you're not as girly or feminine, or you know, whatever it is, sexuality, whatever. But literally you become ostracized from your family because you have deviated from the norm of that particular family group,
and them working so hard to convince you that something is wrong with you eventually seeps into your consciousness. Right? Like your family constantly telling you that because you're not like us, you're not okay, or you're not what you should be, or you're just not good. Like that eventually eats away at who you are as a person, you know. So and then you start to think things like, shoot, I want to have kids one day, and will you make my kids feel this way? Like I don't know, it just,
I mean, and I think a lot of us, we just don't want to think about it because it's so heavy. Yeah. And so we just, what do? We brush it off. We allow it to fade to black. We, you know, just toss it to the, you know, back of our minds, you know, throw it in the trunk, shut it. You know, an interesting thing I'll share with, I remember I was talking to my dad, and I was like, you know, so it's this thing in my family, you know, out of my siblings. It's not anything heavy. It's not anything bad. That's why I'm willing to share it. But it's this thing in my family to where I'm known as like the mean one in my family. They're like, like, dang, Alicia, she a little mean, And so the funny thing is, I remember I never thought I was mean. Until like literally I remember as I became adult, as I became more independent, and I had a different mindset that caused me, I had a different philosophy that caused me to look at situations differently. So I reacted differently. I remember I would start hearing from, some of my siblings more than the other, like, Alicia's mean. And so after a while, I unknowingly, I internalized it, not in a terribly impactful way, but I was just like, I remember I started saying, I could be a little mean.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy because literally they had programmed that in my head, that because I wasn't as much of a, I don't want to say pushover, but because I wouldn't just allow someone to say or do anything to me because they were family, that I was mean for doing so.
Yeah.
That's really what it was. And I remember I was telling my dad, I was like, well, yeah, I can be a little mean sometimes.
Yeah.
And then he said, no. He was like, no, don't. Who said that? You're not mean. You've never been mean. Alicia, you've always been sweet.
Yeah.
You've always been nice. He was like, who told you that? Like, he was like, I know I heard some of your siblings say that. And he was like, I know it's not a big deal. I'm not trying to make it a big deal. But he was like, but you're not mean. It's just the simple fact that you're not going to take crap. Like, you're not going to let someone walk over you in the name of love or blood.
Yeah. And that's so important that he said that. I'm so glad that he did, because had he not, what could have happened is because I have a friend, literally, some verb that this exact thing happened, but nobody told them that.
Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. We're not. Sorry, we're not going to decline them. Can I?
Yeah.
I declined it.
You declined it?
Oh, so sorry.
If you see this, you know what happened. But I'm glad he said that, because I know someone who went through that same exact thing, but nobody told them that. And now they are a chronic people pleaser to the point where they don't know how to say no, because their biggest fear is being mean. Their biggest fear is being perceived as being mean. And the thing that somebody used to weaponize that term against them wasn't even mean. Like, it wasn't even a mean thing. But what happens is, because nobody spoke against that, she was like, oh my God, I don't want to be mean. And now she literally can't even give you an honest opinion. Like, you have to beg her, can you just be honest? Because it's like she has this deep fear of, like, I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be the bad guy. You know what I mean? Like, and so, like, that's a great point, because it can take root for real.
It's real because, first of all, I'm gonna just say this. First of all, me and my family are extremely close.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say that. Now, we have problems just like any other family. I'm not saying we are the Huxtables, okay? But I will be honest and say we are really close. We pretty much all do talk every day. But the thing is, unlike the rest of my siblings, I am that sibling to where if you owe me, I will take you to court. Just don't take you to court. Okay, so that's a little extreme, but it's to say that. No, I probably really would. But if you didn't pay me overtime and you told me you wasn't going to pay me. But I'm that sibling that's like, no, forget that. Just because we are family, just because I love you, and just because you are my blood, that does not give you the right to talk to me in that way. It doesn't give you the right to do that to me. It doesn't make you entitled to have a piece of me that is just too much to ask.
Yeah.
I will not overextend myself to that point. I will not. So I am that family member that will say, those are my nieces and nephews, not my kids. I am that family member that will say, you're asking for a lot of money. I am that family.
Do you need the whole 5 minutes?
I can't give it to you. I don't want to give it to you. And to be honest, I'm just that. I'm that person in general that has just learned, and I'm still learning, because I still need to put a lot of boundaries in place, and with family and with friends. I was just talking to Whit about some of it earlier. I still am that person that has a lot of work to do, but I am that person that I will not allow someone to walk all over me and clearly use and abuse me in the name of family and in the name of love. And God knows that I look at life, it is God, family, those are my top two. So, but I still am that person that's to say, hey, there's a line.
Yeah.
There's a line, and you will not cross it. You may try to cross it, and I will chop you back down. You know, that's just me. But it doesn't make me a mean person, but it just makes me a person to where I have just gotten to a point to where I will not allow myself to be abused on such a level. You know, and I'm still working on that. I think, you know, a lot of us are still working on that. So I'm not saying I'm perfect with that. I have a long way to go. But I am that person that I will not say, oh, well, family over everything, including myself. No, I won't. Yeah. Family over everything. No, but I will not always put my family over me. And I love them to death. And I promise you, I'm going to ride about mine. Okay? You know, but at the end of the day, I will not put my family over myself all the time. I won't do it.
Because at the end of the day, love doesn't have to be mutual. Love can very much so be one-sided. You can very much so love somebody that don't love you back, that can't love you back. But relationships have to be mutual. And if we're going to be in a relationship with each other, it has to be, so there has to be some level of mutual respect. Respect for my boundaries, and then me respecting your needs, right? Because there should be some bend on both sides. And I think a lot of times people find in relationships with family, in relationships with people, the Kim and Kanye situation, right? Like, you go into a relationship thinking that people will bend because you're willing to bend, and sometimes people will just expect you to bend over backwards, and they're like, I'm not changing a dang on thing about myself, about how I move. I don't care about what your needs are. I'm not trying to meet your needs. I don't care about how my behavior hurts you. Like, this is how I am. Get with it or get lost. And they fully stand behind that. And like, relationship got to be mutual. I can love you to death. You know what I mean? One-sided. But to be in a relationship, it has to be mutual.
It has to be mutual. And I think that's the problem, especially, you know, in families and friendships, it can be that way. And in relationships in general, a lot of people feel like because they hold such a title or because they are so close to you that they get a pass. And that is not the case.
No,
it shouldn't be the case. You know, I think more often than not, too many of us make it the case. And we lose ourselves.
Yeah.
And I've seen too many women lose themselves in relationship. I've seen too many people lose themselves in family. I've seen too many people give their right arm and the other person wouldn't even feed them. After they've lost an arm for them, that person wouldn't even feed them.
Wouldn't give them leftovers. I'm telling you.
So I think that's the thing. But I mean, I know this
it took a turn a little bit. But what was, to wrap us off, what do you have an instance that you want to share to give people some point of reference, some tips, whatever, on the time in your life where you needed to transition, whether it be, I know we just had the episode, if you haven't already listened to our episode on business transitions, we dropped that 2 episodes ago. It should be episode 14, I think. But check that one out. We talked about knowing when it's time to transition in your business, elevating your business to the next level. But can you think of like any situations within that you want to share? You know what I mean? That requires some transition.
I would say in general, as I have the changes over time. That's the first stage.
That's a very good one.
My changes over time, over the last year, especially. There's so many different things that God is shifting inside of me and around me, literally my environment, literally, that it's gotten to a point to where my environment has to change. So the different things that God has brought me to, and whether that be in career, in home, in mindset, in just, you know, overall wisdom, intellect, it is forcing me to change the company that I keep, the environment that I keep myself in. God is forcing me to shift those things.
Yeah.
And so the stages that I'm in and that I'm battling with are similar to yours. It's, I know that it needs to change. The recognition of the need, it's there. But now it's like I'm evaluating my different options. And I'm really starting to think about the implications of each of those options in changing my environment. And really it goes back to changing the company that you keep, you know. So I'm really thinking about the implications of it all. And, you know, and now I'm realizing, hey, I need to make the change. Now it's just about, okay, how do I execute you know, my decision.
Yeah.
And that's the part that I'm stuck on. It's like, okay, I've been through the implication stage, which was tough. I was delaying that. But now it's like, how do I execute on the decision that I have to make when it's a decision that a part of you doesn't want to make?
Yeah.
You know, and so that's where I'm at, you know, in all vulnerability and, well, as much as I'm willing to give. And so I think that that's very realistic because that goes past friendship, past romantic relationships and family. It encompasses it all. And it even ties into business. I mean, because for my business sake, these things must change. You know, these relationships, their dynamics must change. You know, people must be added, people must be removed. Certain types of people must be added, must be removed. And so, yeah, that's the part that, you know, I'm dealing with, that I'm working my way through right now. And I would just say to that, I have to encourage myself, and I would want to encourage everyone else that you can lie to anyone else if you want to.
You can't lie to yourself.
But please do not lie to yourself.
Period.
Please.
Period.
And that's that on that.
That's that on that. Cheers. No, for sure. I mean, I think that's a good point to end it. I think you rounded it off with a great note. Like, sometimes the need to transition simply comes from you just outgrowing wherever you are. Like, yeah, you
do.
And on that note, we rolling out.
I'm choosing you, baby.
Cheers.